Hey boys and girls, so got another book for our little book club thing. This one is a vintage book. You're probably not going to find this but on like Amazon or at a car show. But I thought it was interesting, and so I wanted to show it to you guys. In my opinion, it leaves a little to desire in some areas. In some areas, it's like a broad spectrum of Volkswagen performance tuning for the day it was made. So this one is called VW Performance Tuning. I found this at a car show, and I'd seen the front cover, and I was like, that looks cool. It was written apparently in 1973, so it came out after the Bill Fisher book, How to Hot Rod Your Volkswagen Engine. So it's funny, there's a lot of pictures in here. I almost thought he wrote it, because it's like the same photos, but it's not. It is a little different. And I'll say that there's things that I wish that they would have touched upon, like a good example right here. If you look at this photo, it's the same exact photos in the Bill Fisher book. If you ever open the Bill Fisher book, you'll see that one right there. All right, but it kind of shares a lot of it with the Bill Fisher book. The neat thing about this one is that it did come out after the Bill Fisher book, so there's things in here that are not in the Bill Fisher book. A good example is right here, talking about welding behind cylinder 3, right over here. You know, that's just stuff that Bill Fisher and they weren't doing in '69 when they came out with that. But it could use a little in the cylinder head department. I think that's what's really cool about the Bill Fisher book, is that it had cylinder heads. But this one goes through suspension, it goes through the engine, it has a lot of little knickknacks of like the stock models and stuff like that. It goes through turbocharging, which back then was in its infancy. You know, the turbo motors were not really big yet, but Ray J and Switcher, I think it was, were making kits, and they have those kits in here, and they did performance tests, which is kind of cool. Like I say, the Bill Fisher book, I think, has better knowledge. They talk about how to set your compression ratio and the calculations, and it's calculations back then, okay? Like, you can go on CB's website if you need to learn how to do your calculation. They actually have a calculator on there. You know, nobody does this by hand like that anymore. But they talk about a little bit of the cylinder head mods, not in the detail that Bill Fisher did, unfortunately. But I thought this was a really cool period book. Here's the turbo kits, alright? Some guys would love to have that today, you know? No, John would. And it's neat information. If you find it, it'd be cool to pick it up. I'm not going to say that this would be a manual that today you would go through and say, hey, I'm going to follow all the steps in here and build me a hot rod. That's not what this book is. This is a pretty good basic generic idea of what the 70s had. So this is really a good manual if you were to build a period correct J.C. Whitney car, let's put it that way. Because J.C. Whitney actually was selling the Ray J turbo kits from my understanding back then. So there was a guy I remember meeting. He had a 71 Super Beetle, and he wanted to build that. He wanted to build like somebody got the J.C. Whitney catalog and ordered everything, and he was ordering all the parts. He was finding the stuff that was, today you kind of think it looks a little hokey, but it was really cool what he was building. The car was a stock color car, so he wanted to build it all the way like somebody, and that's what he wanted, the Ray J kit, you know. So really cool little book. If you're into the vintage stuff and you want to see what people were actually doing in '73, because not everybody had a 1776 that went the 14s and stuff like that, neat little book right there on like a snapshot of the performance market at that point. Like I say, doesn't give a lot of info into how you can do stuff at home yourself, like the How to Hot Rod book by Bill Fisher. We'll try and do a review on that one later. I think that one's a really good one because it gives you enough information that if you're willing to do some of the stuff in there, you can have a really fun little stock size motor. Even nowadays with the slip-in 88s with the machine and head, you can even have 1679 and not have to really touch the block. So it gives you a lot of information on that stuff, and I think that's really cool about that one. This one I had high hopes for on that part, and it did not. It failed in that area, which is kind of funny as thick as this thing is. But it does have like suspension stuff. It's just not all engines, where the How to Hot Rod VW book was mostly engine. This one goes more, like I say, into the turbocharging and stuff like that, and even to gauges and tachometers and and stuff in that realm. All of that information, unfortunately, is really dated. All right, nobody's going to go out and find an MP TAC and say, I want that for accuracy. So anyways, I thought this was a cool little book. You know, if you find it out there, it's a cool little thing to have on your shelf for your Volkswagen collection. It is not one that I'd say find it because it will give you knowledge. This one is an interesting book, but it's not the one. The How to Hot Rod VW book by Bill Fisher is still the much better of vintage manual. Okay, so anyways, boys and girls, thanks for joining me on this little book time. It is hot today. I don't know why. It's just crazy hot. So I'll see you later. I'm going to try and get some work done on the projects here and keep sweating myself to death. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. And don't forget to hit the bell for notifications, and give me a thumbs up every now and again. It feels good when I actually know that something's happening. So I'll see you guys later. Have a good day.